Okay, so this is our first team call of 2021. It's been a kind of a crazy day, but here we are. So Steph and I were just talking about the No Shame Sales Game. It's you can follow it on Instagram at No Shame Sales Game, and I recently found it, and the posts have been really, really helpful about reframing how you think about inviting in general, and how you think about sharing the business. So, and I shared this. I went through their grid on Instagram and just like wrote up a few things that were really helpful to me. So one thing that was really helpful that I found was this is one of their posts. Direct sales is the exchange of recommendations between friends, and it's mostly done online. Stop overthinking it. That's what it is. Just like you did share anything, this is the same thing. So I just wanted to bring up a conversation about inviting because so many people struggle with that. But you can't get to the inviting part of the business if you're not actively making connections and talking to people. So Steph, how is inviting going for you now compared to maybe a couple of months ago? What are you feeling comfortable with? Where are you still feeling like a holdup?
Yeah, I guess I feel comfortable. I definitely notice it's easier to invite if you strike up a conversation with someone over anything. Especially if they post on or they comment on your post or whatever, that seems to be obviously the easiest. I don't like the cold, like,
no,
hey girl, what's going
no,
on?
I don't either, and I don't recommend doing that.
Yeah,
it feels gross to me, actually.
Yeah, I guess it feels really forced and faked, where even if I get a no from someone, if they've posted or commented or liked, I feel like it opens the door to at least say something. And then I try to keep it, I've been doing better about trying to not overthink it and just keep it like, hey, I don't, whatever. I don't know if you're interested in running, but I just did this running program. It's really cool. And you post about running. So,
and what I find the easiest way, especially when I was a new coach, the easiest way to invite was just to invite to the thing that I'm doing.
Right.
It's hard. I mean, I find it really easy. Like right now we have 9-week Control Freak and everybody's doing it. So it's really easy to invite to 9-week Control Freak because it's new for everybody. So, but sometimes if you don't feel like you have anything to invite to, then it can be really hard to be like, well, I don't even know what I'm inviting to.
Right.
So some things you can invite to are basically like our coach sneak peek on our Facebook page, which is always open, which is one of the things that you helped do is the Level Up Your Wellness.
Okay.
So that's always open. And if someone talks to you about coaching or you've talked to someone about coaching, you can put them right in that Facebook group and all of the videos are there. All of the content is already there. But the biggest thing with inviting is making sure you're being authentic and real.
Yes.
And I often will read my post, like read a message out loud to see how it actually feels.
Yep.
Because if it doesn't feel good to me, or if I wouldn't want to see that pop up in my messages, why would I want to send that?
Right.
So sometimes I can get very wordy. So sometimes like in the beginning, it's easy to just like word vomit.
Yes.
And then you get this message that's like this long and people are like, I don't know what to do with that.
Yes.
So for me, it's easier to do a voice memo.
Oh, right. Yeah. I'm not good at that.
Well, you just have to practice. I find it's easier to do a voice memo, one, because you only have a certain amount of time.
Yes. That I didn't know the first time.
You only have a certain amount of time, and people can really hear your voice.
Yes.
And I know that when something pops into my messages, it often feels just inauthentic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you literally just copied and pasted this because it says insert name here. Like you put that, just did that. So when I send a voice message, they can hear how excited I am or how nervous I am. Yeah. Because I've sent messages to people after I have seen them post something on their Facebook or Instagram, and it just like hit something with me. Like it's usually a mom who's really struggling. And you know how you always have that like struggling mom post where you're like, you just like say it. Those are usually the posts that I feel something, and then I send a voice message, and they're usually the ones that I didn't know that were gonna come. And I'm like, listen, I just saw this and it struck something. Oh, hey, Heidi. And it just struck something in me, and I just needed to reach out because I know how this feels. So just make sure that, first of all, you're making connection, like real connections first. Like you want to build relationships with people. That's what, if you don't build a relationship, your invite will always feel forced. So, and Heather Brown mentioned in our group today that she typically starts inviting, and tell me if this sounds familiar to you. She will start a conversation because she sees something on Instagram, usually about like horseback riding or climbing, things she's interested in. She has some general small talk, and then a forced invite that doesn't like fit. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
Yes.
Yeah. And I know for me personally, in the beginning, it was always like, I have to get the invite in. I have to get the invite in. It's like, oh, I've talked to them 3 times, got to get the invite in. And that's not authentic. Yes. A conversation is not always going to lead to an invite. It just might lead to just a conversation. So just remember that the conversation is to learn more, and the more questions you ask about someone, the more they're going to tell you. And the more that they tell you, the more information you have to then share things that might help them. Because if you just like come in with a hot, cold, like a, hey girl, I'm doing this, you want to do it with me? No, that's gross. Nobody wants that. But if you like have talked to this person and you've cultivated a relationship and they've said, I'm not sleeping well, and I don't eat well, and I have no energy, and I don't have any time. Like you have tools then to share instead of just forcing this thing you're doing on them. Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So that's like inviting to a challenge group or anything like that. How does it feel when you are talking about the business part of this? How does that invitation go?
Not well. I don't know. I usually do it as like if someone wants a challenge pack, or I've noticed they have gotten like their second thing of Shakeology or something like that, then I'll say it. I usually often will just say it as a discount piece.
Yep.
Or like if you want to keep doing this, like if they're going to sign up initially, you may want to try signing up this way as a discount. You don't have to coach if you don't want to, whatever, but I usually leave it like that.
Yeah, does that feel more authentic?
Yes.
Yeah.
That way it does. I mean, I don't know how to do it from like the business, like the do you want to coach side.
All right. This is something I would not want to see you do ever. So don't do this. You friend somebody, like you do a friend request to somebody, and then because they're in fitness or whatever, you're like, hey, do you want to hear about my business?
Right. Yeah,
no, it just feels gross, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're talking with somebody, a really nice way, like a way I like to do it is, I'm just wondering if you want to link arms, because I'm looking to link arms with someone who wants to do XYZ. There's that. Another way is, has anybody ever talked to you about this? I mean, that came from directly from the No Shame Sales Game Instagram, as a tip of how to talk about what you're doing with somebody else without just like hitting their DMs like salesy, because nobody wants that.
No.
But I liked it. Has anybody ever talked to you about this?
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
like
that's good.
I wouldn't be mad if somebody said that to me.
Yeah.
Another way you could talk about it is, are you loving the thing that you're doing? Are you loving the nutrition plan that you're following? Are you loving the gym that you go to? Do you love the collagen that I saw you posting about? There's that also. Have you ever considered a side hustle? Their big thing with the No Shame Sales Game is just like, stop saying join my team, because then it's all about you. It's not about the community that you're building. It's like you being the boss and all these people are like, we are a team. I don't want people to think that it's my team though. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And all of those notes are in our team page. So what questions do you have when it comes more to inviting to the business side, or more is it just like you just need to have more conversations to have more people to invite, to have people in the funnel?
Yeah, I think I just need more conversations to have more people in the funnel.
Yeah.
Because I feel like once I start the conversation, then it's easier than it has been, because now I haven't found any holes yet in the programs, even though I try all the time.
Yeah.
To see if they're not going to work, or like something's not going to work. So now that I've been doing them for so long, it feels like,
why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah.
The other thing is, what I've found for you is that you've also gained more confidence in yourself.
Yes.
So when you have more confidence in yourself and you have confidence in the thing that you're doing, then it's easy to be like, listen, this is what works for me. And you can just say it just like you've been saying it. This just works for me. Like, I want it to work for you too.
Well, I think it's helped too. Like, I've done more digging, and they posted more about the integrity of the company.
Yeah.
So like the whole video about Shakeology and all its testing and quality products and all that stuff. And then I found like the Shakeology podcast series, which was really good. I learned a whole lot. And then I happened to find on BOD in nutrition, if you scroll all the way over, there's a performance line tab, and it explains the performance line individually. And so I just watched it on Energize. It was like a 5-minute video.
Is it the one with Dr. Nima?
Yeah.
Yes, I send that to so many people. It's so good.
It's so good. I had no idea how, and like, I just like Energize, but now learning how it works, and then learning why they put what they put together and how they put it together.
Yeah.
Like, for me, that takes the skeezy part out of it. Yeah. Because it's like this is just not powder in a box. Like, they actually thought about it. They did it properly. They all the things. Like, for me, that's what builds my confidence to talk to someone else.
And that's the other thing that I want to make sure that you guys understand, is that you don't need to be the expert. People don't want you to be the expert.
Right.
Because but what I find is very helpful is when I use these tools like the Energize video or the Shakeology video or any of those videos where I'm not the one saying, oh, look, it's this, this, and this. It's somebody, just like when somebody else tells you anything.
Yeah.
Like, those videos are super, super helpful. And if you're not using them, definitely find them in the back office and use them.
Well, so that's what I was going to ask. That's what I was going to ask. Where are they in the back office? Because you can't share off your
back office. Go into Grow My Business.
Yeah.
And there's the shareable media.
Yeah.
Click in there, and then you have to scroll all the way down through all the programs, and I think it might be on the second page. It says like in a little tile, Beachbody Performance.
Okay.
Click in there, and then you'll just see where all the videos are, just like for all the other programs. But
I was shocked. Like, I just happened to scroll over because I saw something, and then I'm like, oh, and it was good.
Yeah. I use that a lot, especially when it's someone's asking me questions about the nutrition plan, because I don't want to be looked at as the expert on that. So I always send them the 2 videos, the intro to Be Mindset and the intro to Alternate Portion Fix.
Yeah.
And then, especially if someone's like, what one should I do?
Right.
I send that, and I'm like, which one feels like the one you can do forever? So we have lots of tools. You just have to be comfortable talking to people and creating those conversations. And the more consistently you talk to people and create those conversations, the easier it gets to not feel like you're just like, I don't know how to do it. Right? Heidi, any questions, or what has been working well for you?
Nothing.
Because you're not doing anything?
Over the past 2 months, I haven't.
Okay.
Just because my job switch and everything, it was too much to handle.
Do you want to, what do you want to do going forward? And we can have this conversation now.
No, my problem is I can't find a way to talk to people. I've tried having conversations and they just cut off. And then it's like, where do you go from there? I have an issue with small talk, that, bringing up conversations with people. I've never been a person to do that. I have tried to find my way to do that. I have attempted several times to talk to people, and it just falls off.
I don't love small talk. I don't want to have like days and days of small talk where it just goes nowhere, because I've got things to do. If I'm really interested in the conversation, yes, but I don't necessarily want to hear somebody just like a litany of like all these things they hate. Like, I don't want that. So maybe you just need to be more direct with things, because that works for some people, where like some people need to have the conversation and they build up the thing and all of that. And some people are just like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? This is what I'm doing. And like, I get ghosted all the time. It's like, but here's the thing about being ghosted also. And then it's the perfect opportunity to have a follow-up in a week or a month. And the people who ghost you can be those people on your like list of people that you just follow up with.
And how do you keep track of all these people?
I write it down in a notebook. That's it. I don't do anything fancy. I put a date on a notebook piece of paper. I make a list. I say if I invited them, if I followed up with them, I'll make a list of invites, connections, and follow-ups. That's it. And I do it the next day. And then I put a date on the paper for the next day. And I just do the same thing. So for me, on Fridays, that's the day where I follow up with all the people who I've talked with during the week, who either have a share card out, or I invited them to something and they haven't heard back from them. Or it's my follow-up with the new customers I'm getting from the free leads, or any of those things. Like, I follow up with people all the time so that when they're ready, and this can be like, I've had people who are just like signing up now that I started talking to 2 years ago. But they know, they keep seeing me show up. They know that I'm going to check in on them. And when they're ready, then it's just like, I usually get a message from them saying, are you still doing that Beachbody thing? Because I want to do this. But I don't not follow up with people. And if someone says no, I just say, that's cool. Is it okay if I check in with you next month? And then to make it even easier, just get a planner, and you can put, so if someone tells me no today, I'll say, okay, cool. Can I check in with you next month? And then I'll flip to February. And on February 5th, I'll follow up with that person. And it's usually just like, oh, hey, you told me you wanted me to check in with you next month, so here I am checking in. That's it. And that's how you build trust and connection, and that's how people know that you're actually there to help them and not just there to sling them something.
But what do you say when you like follow up? Hey, I'm just following up with you from last month.
Yeah, I usually just check in and see how they're doing.
Like,
yeah, and whatever it is what we were
say
talking about, then I just say, I'm just checking in with you. Sometimes I'm just like, here I am. I said I was going to follow up with you this month, so here it is. A month later, I'm checking in. That's it. Like, it's not a big thing. Like, follow-ups are my favorite thing because it's just like, basically like, I'm literally checking in on you to see how you're doing. I said I was going to, here I am. Did you get the link that I sent you? Did you watch that video that I sent you? Do you have any more questions from the other day? What do you think about that program? What did you like most about it? Did you try that recipe? All those things. But you have to be consistently talking and engaging and putting people in the funnel, so you always have people to follow up with. And it's hard when you're like, you do it for a couple of weeks and then you don't, and then you do it for a couple, there's like it's hard to get momentum that way. And everybody's here to do it differently. Like, not everybody wants to do this full time. That's cool. Some people just want a little extra money. That's cool. And some people just want to help other people get set up. And that's cool too. So not everybody has to do it like I'm doing it, but we all are here because, one, we love the products, and two, we want to help other women have the same kind of success and results that we've had. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't still be using these things if I didn't like them. Because as soon as I don't like something, I'm out. So, and I never thought I'd be here 4.5 years later. That's for sure. So Heidi, your just whole thing is like the small talk part of it?
Yeah, I've tried to engage talk, and I think it's because it's the people that I've sent stuff to before, and they just I get the I'm irritated with you vibe,
Is that a vibe that is that because they're telling you that, or is that just how you feel because of what it is that you think they are feeling?
It's how I feel.
Okay. It's hard when you feel that way all the time, because then you don't want to talk to any more people.
I mean, it's like, my neighbor yesterday, when I posted about, that I'm doing the 9-week control freak, cutting out all alcohol, continuing with my nutrition and stuff like that. And, she made the joke of, well, I quit alcohol, years and years and years ago. She doesn't drink. She's like, I'm just hoping to wake up fit and skinny tomorrow. And I'm like, and it's a sarcastic attitude because I know her.
Yeah.
I know her. I mean, she's my neighbor. I know her personality. So it's like, when I get stuff like that, it's like, I get irritated.
I mean, I can't change that one for you. I can't change how you feel. I can't change how you feel about that one. But I would encourage you to just say, like, send her a message or see her outside. Just say, hey, listen, when you say stuff like that, it really affects me. Because if you don't say those things to people, then you're going to always feel the way that you're feeling. It's sucky to feel that way. It is. So I guess you have to find a way that feels authentic to you, that doesn't feel like you're just spending hours small talking. Because if you don't, why do something you don't want to do? I mean, if you don't want to have small talk, then don't have small talk. You can just invite people, because there are thousands of coaches that just cold invite, and it works amazingly for them. For me, that's not how I want to do it, but that doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just is what feels right to you. So, do you guys usually have an idea of how many people you want to invite every month?
I haven't for a while.
Yeah, not really. I mean, I keep trying to, or I keep writing on my calendar, like every month, like I'm going to help whatever, 3 women, 5 women or whatever. And I'm doing better about, like last month, I kind of wrote what I have to do that. Like I tried to break it all down.
Yeah.
So, but it is hard because I feel like I have a hard time making new connections. So I feel like I keep going back to the same well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm doing. It seems like I go back to the same well over and over again.
Well, if that well is not working for you, then you definitely have to dig a new hole. So instead of, maybe you just need to spend more time finding new people to talk to. So that's whether that's getting into different Facebook groups that are interest to you, spending 5 or 10 minutes on Instagram looking for different groups or hashtags or brands that you like and looking and talking with people there. The more you engage in other people's things, the more people are going to come into your world. But you have to put the energy out there to engage in other people's things. People aren't just going to like come to you. So even if you spend 5 minutes every day looking at a brand that you like or a hashtag that you like, or like I do a lot with the Enneagram 3s because those are my people, things that you like or other people that you would want to hang out with, like those kinds of people, that's where you have to be engaging. So I follow a lot of Enneagram 3 hashtags and people on Instagram that are Enneagram 3s. And then I engage more with their people, because when I engage more with those people, then their people come over and engage with me.
So what do you mean by follow hashtags? Because I don't know what that means.
I'm not great at it. It's like when you put a hashtag in your post.
Yes.
You can go to that hashtag, like you can click on it. It will take you to that hashtag and you will see all the posts for people who use it.
Yeah, so that's what you mean by follow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then anytime anybody uses that hashtag, it will pop up in your feed.
Okay, so that's what I'm asking. How do you do that part?
How do you get
it to pop up? How do you get it to pop up in your feed if you follow? Do you click on follow this hashtag and then it pops into your feed?
Yeah, like anytime someone uses it, it will pop, like in Facebook, like you know how random people will just like pop up in your Facebook and you're like, I don't know how they got here. It's the same thing.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna have to play with that then.
Pick a couple and see what happens.
Right.
You know, like you can follow places like you can do all the things in Maine.
Right.
You know, every time you tag a location, that helps bring up your stuff for other people to see.
Yeah, I have noticed when I put in sort of a random hashtag, it'll grab, like someone else will like my post or something.
Yeah.
That is
and what I found is in my notes section of my phone, I just have a whole collection of hashtags.
Yeah.
So then I can just like copy and paste it and put it into my post.
Yeah, that's what I gotta do.
I know that there are certain hashtags that when I use those hashtags, the post goes crazy. And when I use a different configuration, it's not as great. But you can't use the same collection of hashtags every single day. You know what I mean? Like you can't just copy and paste the same 10 hashtags every single day.
I see.
Yeah. It's all a game. Okay. Good night, buddy. Yeah. So that's really, inviting is really just anything you think you're going to put in somebody's DMs. Think about if you'd actually talk to them that way in real life. Think of an invite as something you would just a conversation you would have with somebody. Because if you were face to face with somebody, you wouldn't word vomit all over them. and be like, I'm doing this amazing thing. I want to do it with you. I think you would like this because I thought of you and I wanted to share this with you. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. And you're still going to hear no. A lot. Like, just remember, to get to one yes, you need to get through 10 no's. Like, for every 10 no's is one yes. So, I've heard a lot of no's. A lot. But it gets easier the more consistently you show up and do things, and people then feel a connection with you. It doesn't feel as hard when you show up in their messages. It's not going to be like, what is she doing? It's almost like, oh, she finally got to me. All right, great. It's my turn. So I just want you guys to be comfortable with this part of it, because if you're not comfortable with the relationship part of it, it's never going to go anywhere, because this is all about relationships.
Yeah.
It's all about relationships and building trust. And if people don't trust you, or they don't feel like you have their best interest at hand, it's going to be hard for them. It's going to be hard for them to say yes. And inviting now looks different than it did 4.5 years ago. It feels different also. But it's been consistently doing those things for all these hundreds of months. You guys, if I can do it, you can do it too. Like, I legit don't want to be the only one on this team who does this stuff, because it is not fun. It's not. Like, I want to celebrate all of you who want to help other people. Whether it's one person, 17 people, 100 people, whatever it is, I want to celebrate you guys because you have done the hard work and you want to share that with other people. And I just want to help you do that. But like, for real, doing it by myself is no fun. It's not. So I just want to help you in a way that helps you reach the goals that you want for however you want to build this side hustle. If it's just covering your own products, I can help you get there. If it's quitting your job and going full-time, great. If it's just like, I'm going to just help a person, if I help a person, just let me know and we can do that too. So what I don't want to see you do is be frustrated because it's not working and then give up. Because it's working in all of your lives. You just have to translate that into a way that feels authentic to yourself, and that other people are like, oh yeah, that's me too. I can do that too. So, all right. Any other questions? I want to make sure I got all my notes. Now all combos will lead to an invite. Did you hear that, Heidi? That not all conversations are going to lead to an invite? I think you may have popped on right before or after we started talking about that. You will have conversations with people, and I don't want you to feel like you're always pushing to invite them to something. So not all conversations will always lead to an invite, and that's okay. I don't want you to feel like it's forced, because that just feels bad on both sides. Often the invite will happen organically when somebody says to you, what do you do? What is that thing you're doing? Or I saw you do this, how can I do it too? Or they'll ask you a question. So you want to make sure you're asking a lot of questions so they give you more information where you can kind of figure out if there's something that you can help them with. Don't just like force what you're doing on somebody else, because they might have no interest in that at all. Especially if you're just like showing up uninvited into their DMs. They might be like, what? No, thanks. I'm not interested. Just make sure you're creating conversations and not, and I am guilty of this. I have been very guilty of this, creating a fake conversation to get to the invite. Because that just leaves you feeling gross. And I don't want you to feel gross. Ask a lot of questions and be genuinely interested in the people that you're talking to. And you will find that, one, you will have conversations with people and you're like, these are not my people. And that is okay. You do not have to try to save the world. And two, you may find that someone that you didn't think was your person really is. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So what I hope for you guys is that you think about some of the things, take a look at the notes I put in our team page, and try to implement some of those things into what you're doing this week. And let me know how it goes. Okay. What I would love after we close up this call, if you could take a look at those notes that I posted in, and then in the post, let me know which one you think you're going to work on this week. Okay. All right. Anything else? All right. And don't forget, we have Team Cup coming up in February. So if you're thinking about doing a Team Cup, I can help you put together a team. If you have questions about Team Cup, let me know. Because I want everybody on all the teams to win all the prizes. Because I love prizes. All right, guys. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for hopping on the call. And Steph, if your coach Kim needs any help, let me know. We can get on a 3-way Zoom or whatever.
Okay.
Okay. But
sounds good.
Yeah, I like that you have a little unicorn.
Oh yeah, we'll see what happens.
Even if she helps one person.
Yeah.
And if you want to put her into our 9-week control free group, feel free.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Talk to you guys later. All right, bye.